is going to be other teams trying to get there as well.
FaZe managed to get one knock though. Synetics already managed to pick one up, and maybe that stare has continued. That aggression that he was showing towards you is now turning into FaZe clan aggression as well. Arctic will get the second, RC down to 1.
Down to 1, but you can see they're reluctant to fully send it at the moment because there's always going to be the defensive capability of a Watson just to try and stun you a little bit, but they've done the damage they needed to. They're just worried about other teams as Arctic goes down, but this is why you have Newcastle.
Northeption having a little look at this one from a distance, but now they're going to get much, much closer. Tighter. Shot's not quite connected in the way he would have wanted to with that Mozambique. With the purple boat, he can do so much damage here. It looks like inside of the building, FaZe have managed to momentarily stabilize, which is going to make Northeption think a little bit differently about aggressively pushing in. But scary moments for FaZe, but overall, they've ended up where they wanted to, and they've got a couple of KP as well.
Northeption up to 38th from 40th. Previously to this series, they were right rock bottom, but now in this series, they're 6th place. Like, they are really putting themselves within a shot of getting a little bit further up, if not into the winner's bracket. As we mentioned, a better POI draft when they are in that elimination bracket. It's KCP, another team who currently would be going into that elimination side, and they're still looking to try and find some points here.
Well, there's the map overlay for you. You can see what teams are already in and around where they believe the game is going to be ended. You can see a little bit of a split between Lava Fissure and maybe just to the south side of Countdown, where we do see those zones pull out into the open areas. Liquid Alienware going to be playing the tracks right in the center of the zone as well. The only teams who are understandably not making their way there quickly are the teams who are going to have to work their way all the way across World's Edge here from their POIs towards where that zone is going to be going. It's going to be about collecting Evo for them, making sure that when they arrive, they're ready to fight.
So you can see on the southeast, Falcons, Gaming Gladiators, Makers, they're all going to be arriving very late here, and actually a real opportunity to get Zone 3 info from several different ring consoles on their rotation as well, so they're not going to be too worried about scrapping each other. They shouldn't have to fight for ring consoles either because there's plenty to use. I think Falcons are actually going to use Big Maud to get their information to begin with, and then they'll continue moving forward to the center of the map.
Yeah, Maker's doing something similar here over at Tree. You'd imagine them will just be hovering for a while until that ring console becomes available for that Zone 3 information. Elsewhere, we head over towards Skyhook, and we've got Alliance, who are up on height. And I keep having to say this, even though they are playing with a substitute, and what a substitute it has been in Tyler, who has certainly performed, I would say, above and beyond what would have been asked of him by Alliance fans. It still is an Alliance without effect, who has been such a big game changer for them in recent times.
Well, Alliance at the moment in the overall standings, they're on 99 points. They are in 18th position, and they could have a few more points here if they push this one correctly.
Alliance, and Unlucky in particular, has been absolutely superb. Every time you jump on his POV throughout any of these games, he is very, very rarely making a wrong decision. So much damage output coming out from him, and so much aggression when the time is right to pull that trigger for them as well. So if he can keep up the pace that he set for himself back at EWC and continuing it here in Mannheim, then Alliance are still going to be in a pretty good spot. First overall in the group at the moment.
They do need to be careful though. Not Moist very close by. They're just lurking in the shadows, waiting for maybe a couple of knocks before they can join things up here at Skyhook. It looks like Striders are just trying to get out of dodge here. Happy to retreat. And they'll probably end up somewhere in Countdown if they are quick enough. Elsewhere, you can see a Cholos Laser Guild on the other side of things as well. They're both hunkered down. They've got Castle Wall to work with, Watson fences, both just protecting themselves. Or maybe just the environments here.
Yesterday was the day that was defined by the performance of this team. iiTzTimmy Laser, I mean, what is there that we haven't said already to say about their performance yesterday? Absolutely superb. The South American region will be so happy to see these three players performing in the way that they have. And they're looking to continue that today and fight their way into the winner's bracket tomorrow for a chance at qualifying for those match point finals. Go Next Esports got a lot of work to do. 5th in this series, but outside of the top 20 when it comes to those overalls.
Yeah, 30th at the moment and still quite a way to go. They're about 24 points off the current cutoff, which is 89. LG currently hold that, by the way, 89 points. Will they feel safe with 89? Maybe not. There's been some consideration that cutoff could be anywhere above 90, could even go up to 100, depending on how the series goes. As, again, Alliance are getting aggressive.
Unlucky's going to get that first knock again, continuing what we were talking about just a few moments ago. The man is just kill hungry at the moment, and he is feasting on everybody that he seems to come across. The initial damage was done by a combination of the EMP, and now you're going to see Unlucky looking for more. He'll swing in. It's another one in combination with Tyler. That's going to be Strider's eliminated as Alliance. Now having 1-1 fight, turn their attention. Oh my God, Unlucky! Wolfsy thinks twice and he is out of there.
Unlucky just catches Moist at the perfect time. Doesn't allow them to creep up, doesn't allow them to capitalize on the small amount of damage that was done prior. And now Alliance can reset, and they've successfully won that engagement, and it's just more points for them to work with. It does put them over 100 points in the overall, so I think that should be enough realistically, but it's really tough to say with the amount of points that are still available in these 3 games.
I mean, Unlucky's nearly done 800 damage already in this game. And he's just going to add more numbers in a few seconds as well. Now he does cross that threshold of 800. Moist fire back and say, okay, we're not going to let you have the fun that you want to have. And Moist will have to go through Alliance here. So this is a really difficult push. Moist have kind of left themselves in a situation with 45 seconds left until this zone closes, where their rotation is being held out by Alliance. So this fight looks like it kind of has to happen.
So Moist having a look onto this one. They were pegged back earlier, but maybe they can do some damage here. Let's jump into a listening, see how they're doing.
I do.
Where are they going? I don't know.
Are we going main building, I think?
What, full story?
Yep. No. I hear.
No, they're close. I got a bat.
I'm an EP second here. No, I hear.
One's on the left, one's on the left.
Drone bucket, play it, bottom floor.
Play bottom floor together. You guys. Yeah, I'm coming. How long to drone?
It's not gonna be a while, like 10 seconds. We have zone closed though. Alright, we're kind of chilling for now.
I'm sitting on door. Can't drop.
Yeah, they're gonna drop 100%. They're grappling back. We're timing them.
What? No, they're playing our roof. Timmy?
Oh yeah, they're right there. You're right.
They're gonna look to swing. They're on staircase. On staircase, nading it. Knock you.
I'm EMPing in a second here.
MVP?
Yep, EMPing now.
Okay. On my door. Path one.
I killed one. I killed 2.
One. Dead. Nice.
I'm getting a goal.
New team, run to me, run. Go invis if you have to. Path here.
Give me comms.
So it'll be not Moist who managed to eventually get their way through Alliance. The problem is, here comes the third party. It's KCP on the zip who managed to force Timmy away from the fight to try and survive as a solo.
Yeah, the Pioneers are looking to find points now. I think they've recognized what kind of position they are with the overalls, and if they do want to get into the winner's bracket, they need big games now. They need to be looking at how other teams have found success. And sometimes that is looking for third parties, looking for that extra KP. And if they can own the northern side, then of course they will have a chance to move into that circle. Now, speaking of the circle, it is going to be heading a little bit further south, down towards Mirage Trois. So I'm excited to see how teams are going to play around that one.
One thing to note when we talk about Mirage Trois and we take a look at the replay that happened inside a landslide here as Olimpo were able to take down iiTzTimmy's laser, is that the team that's up on the height of Mirage itself is going to be Furia. So Furia continuing to make some really good reads on these zones, find some really good power positions as we jump over now live to the point of view of Olimpo, who just took down iiTzTimmy's laser. Falcons, speaking of down, Jin Burton is on his back.
And look at the position that Falcons find themselves in. If they can get back up, they're in a really hot spot right now because the zone does traditionally move this way towards these train tracks, towards these carts and rocks that you can play around. But the question is, will they get the opportunity to get Jen back on his feet? That's the real question, because there are several teams that are trying to push up, and there's an EMP that's also going to be popped.
Well, Zero stick in the res, the smoke goes down as well. He is just about in cover here, Jim Burton. You can see the desperation shots coming over the shoulders, but KCP, they're continuing their little run here. It looks like they are kill hungry in this game, and like you say, it might be a case of we have no other choice to try and force our way up these leaderboards. The second time we've seen them in a team fight, the second time we've seen them be successful. Moist have managed to get back up to a 3 though, thanks to the work that comes in from Timmy. Now we turn our attention back once again to Falcons on the train tracks.
Falcons back up to a full 3, and they can have a chance to actually take this fight as well. Zero's taking a lot of damage, but Hal can answer back, and Hal on the fuse is far more comfortable than he is on the Newcastle as well. If he can lay down that initial damage, get maybe a crack or 2, he might just be able to send it with the rest of the squad, and there you go, there's your first knock.
Wouldn't surprise me to see Falcons try and clean this up. They did get the finish though. Onto iiTzTimmy, which means that they don't actually have to play this too aggressively. They can wait, they can bait, knowing that it's only a 2 inside of that train track. And when they retreat, now is the time to strike. And Falcons and Zero doesn't like letting kills get away. He has a little swing at that one, but Falcons realize that position is everything. And look at the zone as well. Like you said, pulling straight on top of Falcons.
They'll be dead center. Their main worry is going to be someone coming from above. GHS could potentially have some height over them, but they do have the ability to smoke themselves off and just avoid any gunfire a little bit later. But right now, they've done the job. As you can see in the kill feed, KCP are at it yet again. They're currently in 30th position, by the way. They are really chasing this top 20 now.
Hal looking for the knuckle clusters down to the low ground. Still knows that there's two players who are below him. The mother load's going to be sent in as well, but not any information to be gathered from it. They want these final two kills. You can tell that they're trying desperately to get them, and Zero firing down alongside Hal. Valto is down to 1 HP. Kings is pretty weak as well. The question is, do they swing on this? Do they want to try and finish this off right here, right now?
They know they don't need to get desperate for it, and that's the thing. They can just wait for them to walk into their path. Go next, and the Limpo eliminated. Guild have just gone down as well. Now 13 teams here, as this zone is starting to force a few fights on the edges. FaZe Clan, Reject Winity, Complexity are all next to each other on the northwest.
Well, look at Moist. Look what they've managed to do. From Timmy being on his own after they ran over Alliance to now in one of the better positions here when it comes to the zone. And you can see that on your map overhead in front of you right now. Look to the right-hand side of that circle. Not Moist in a fantastic position to challenge Team Falcons, who control so much of this zone.
But it is just a death zone everywhere else. Speaking of KCP, they've been on a tear at the moment. 3 kills to their name, and they are looking for more. They're looking to try and press their advantage here, but they won't get too aggressive just yet. They need to heal.
Nade's going to go down. EMP is going to follow up as well. And KCP, who we've seen be on a warpath, might be involved in one final battle here. GHS Professional will go down. Onmu will be credited with one of those knocks, but it's Reject Winity who are doing the majority of the damage here, as Pioneers will finally fall. Reject Winity will pinch in behind and pick up those KP.
You can see Moist had a little look at it as well. Timmy just waltzed on over and said, maybe we can join in, maybe we can do some damage, but they will re-establish their position on the northeast, because you mentioned it, they're in one of the prime positions now, somehow, some way. It's looking like Not Moist and Falcons in 2 of the best positions, but Reject Winity can certainly be a thorn in the side from their spot as well. They can do a lot of damage to Not Moist if they spot them, and an EMP might just give them the information they so desperately require.
Well, to the teams who thought it was going to Mirage, we'll see what they have to do. Makers are taking to the skies, using that evac tower to try and escape. Elsewhere in the kill feed, you can see GG, Complexity, and FaZe all picking up knocks. 2 of them will be onto the players who took to the skies there from Makers, and now Fury decided it's our time to try and take to the sky as well. This time, a little bit of a different route. It's the zip line up to the balloon and then away, and it's beautifully done here.
All of the teams from the west are moving. This is the high ground I was talking about, because now you can jump down.
They can
and
do
this
Falcons.
is where Falcons are. Falcons need to be careful.
Well, Falcons all survive. SWQ have been eliminated in the meantime, as we find ourselves now inside of our top 10. Falcons trying to zero in on Fury inside of this truck, no pun intended, but now they're going to swing, and now off the back of the damage, can't quite get that first knock, but Zero, he wants more KP, he wants some kills, he wants these knocks.
Doesn't get it, does go down, but I think enough damage that the rest of the team can maybe help out. But are there other
Newcastle
teams? Newcastle with the gold shield could be very detrimental though.
Crypto should be dealt with, but he gets the armor swap, and even though he does, it's now all up to Hal. It's a 1v1 inside of the truck. The Newcastle is dealt with, and Furia will be eliminated as the CEO wins his one.
No one else there to take down the Falcons. They will reset. They will be back up to a full 3. Elsewhere, Reject Winity and FaZe Clan are peppering each other right now, both trying to stay alive on this northern side.
FaZe right on the edge of zone here. Inside of that truck, you can see RC firing back at them. FaZe have to force their way in, though, and what a game this could be for FaZe. Coming into this second set of 3 games in this series, they were outside of that top 20. And we mentioned how these 3 games could be massive for them and their hopes of going into that winner side. Well, a big performance here in game number 1 here on World's Edge might give them a little bit of hope. But now Gaming Gladiators might be pinching behind Falcons, and this train track has become all of a sudden prime real estate.
I mean, the likes of FaZe Clan, 22 points off the current cutoff of 89, so that is very achievable. But of course, we don't think that is going to be the cutoff. Several teams could surpass that, and we might be even further towards the 100s. GG now pressuring Falcons a little bit. If they had nades, if they had utility, could do a lot of damage here to Falcons, but it looks like Falcons are able to stabilize quite successfully.
Falcons will be safe just in one of the corners. Complexity now flying in as well. And they're going to be playing a little bit differently down on this low ground. The motherload will go in. And it's going to be GG who are doing a huge amount of damage here. Kimchi will go down for Complexity. Monsoon will answer back onto Blast. It's a 2v2 for now. The zipline juggles. They're not good enough for either side, and Lou now left on his own.
Lou left on his own to try and pull off a madness. FaZe Clan just got eliminated in 7th position as well. And Maker's just got a respawn, by the way, in the late game. We have 3 teams down here on the south. Falcons maybe can pick up some extra KP, and they will do so as Complexity get eliminated.
Might be another one for them here. Zero through the smoke. Can't quite connect with the final shots, but he's going to drop and swing onto this player to try and take Light out and deal with GG. Falcons pick up yet more kills on their way forward in this game.
And there is a very invisible Makers player down in the middle of the zone right now. It's not Moist, it's Falcons, and it's 2 members of Makers. Now, Not Moist and Falcons, remember, last time they went up against each other, Not Moist were able to get a huge points advantage on that first day, on Thursday. They had an amazing start to it, but Falcons fought back towards the end of it. What could they do now in a 3v3 v2? Makers could maybe make the difference here for one of these squads.
Well, if it does come back down to Not Moist and Falcons, could this be a little bit of a teaser for something we might see later on in this tournament? 2 teams who are hotly tipped as potential players and teams to lift that trophy when we get to the end of our match point finals. Even though it's just a small glimpse of the bigger picture, this might be something we'll talk about going forward, but instead it looks like Falcons wanted to try and deal with a duo, and by trying to do so, they've lost Hal.
They have lost Hal, but there is going to be a gold res that you can work with here. Maybe you can get back up and maybe you have a chance, because that final player from Makers can still influence this one. Not Moist have not pushed up. They are hesitant. They don't really know what they're going up against right now.
Wolsey's having a little bit of a swing through the smoke, though. He's trying to see what he could do. There's the motherload, though, coming in, and everybody from Falcons and Makers is trapped in and around it. Timmy up on the high ground. He takes a little bit of damage, tries to get a couple of arc stars in to try and flush those players out from cover.
This is messy at the moment. There's an invisible crypto right between all of this, and Makers just trying to hope that they can get into top 2. You can see Zicky there right by the rocks underneath Falcons. But right now, they just both have to focus on each other.
Michael Costa goes in from Guild. Zone here is controlled by Falcons, but that Makers player, the last one alive, Zicky, could cause so many problems to both of these teams. When you look across the ultimates at the moment, you can see the motherload was expended by Moist and Guild a few moments ago as they thought their moment to try and capitalize and collapse on that fight was in front of them. Instead, Falcons, they've managed to stabilize here. Zicky's still alive, and you get the feeling maybe he'll have something to say about it as Moist takes so much damage.
Timmy trying to EMP. The EMP could be massive. It does a lot of damage that could just force the push here.
Look at Zicky. Zicky's still alive, by the way, as Moist and Falcons are forced to fight. It's going to be Timmy who gets the elimination, and now we have a 3v3 for #1 spot in this game. Falcons will get the first knock here. Jen Burn, big damage coming in from him as well. It's only one player to deal with. Jen in a 1v1 and will win it as Falcons